Alright, this case was scheduled for the 8th of March 2023, but I asked the courts to bring it forward due to my, extraordinary set of circumstance, that is life and death set of circumstance. That's the word I had used to the court registrar. And so with that, the courts brought forward the case because I had made that request. So the case was brought forward to the 22nd of February 2023. At this hearing on the 22nd of February 23, I was under the impression it was a list court, and it was before Judge Campbell. Now at this list court, two of the counsels actually denied any engagement or denied the fact that that the Ministry of Health was actually their client or had anything involving the Ministry of Health. This case I have made active again. But because it is my case, I am within my right to apply for a review of the case. But the counsel for the Ministry of Health didn't turn up. So we actually had a conversation where I went to serve the documents on him at Key Chambers, and I quickly just reflected on the case, and I said, no, it is your case, because they were trying to say it's not their case, the Ministry of Health is not their case. But and I tried to say, kind of gave him a quick review at that moment when I went to serve the documents on him, and he still denied that. He said, oh, it was another name, but I don't think that name exists anymore. However, the case is active. I did pass the normal court protocols and rules to have a judicial review on my case, and the reason why I had to do it because my set of circumstance from my point of view has been dangerous for me. I haven't been able to go forward. I keep getting attacked. People were continuously personally attacking me or sabotaging anything that I did to go forward. Then I had to put up with the public scrutiny every day. It's like they were waiting outside when I went even just to go shopping, and then started realizing that they were actually inciting my life like a game on TV. And I knew I was being used for relationship scams. I put all my energy into this whole case because basically my life is dependent on whatever the result comes out of this case. Historically, by law, the counsels have committed perjury. As I mentioned on the last video, I told the judge that the case is actually a trafficking in persons case. I know I've mentioned trafficking by force, but there are different types of trafficking. But my case is a trafficking in persons case, and it has the penalty of 20 years imprisonment. And it involves corporate organisations or government organisations or public organisations or corporate bodies operating together as one unit, and they all coexist together. So that is how I have presented my case for the judicial review. But the case is against the Crown. Anything to do with big corporate companies with government, it is to do with the Crown. Anyone that's in my set of circumstance is actually in real life dangerous set of circumstance, because one, your privacy is already gone, and that's what shows in my my personal profile, that I've been secretly exploited historically, and since they railroad me out of my job, the actual exploitation and the stealing hasn't stopped. At the hearing on the 22nd of February 2023, straight away I was upset, and what hit me hard after the hearing was the fact that I knew that my case was sabotaged straight away. I had someone ask me, how do you know if your case has been sabotaged? And I said, well, a lot of it comes from common sense and experience, because I used to case manage these kind of files, but the judge asked me questions that I had already answered in memos. I told the judge that integrity is important to me, and so basically, like, through the whole case, everything to do with my case historically, everything that I have submitted to the court are actually true, in the moment facts of my life. But the opposition have sabotaged, historically have sabotaged my case. The judge did ask me to reserve the Ministry of Health, which I have, and I've actually put in an application confirming and verification of dates, and then I put everything on exhibits to had everything sworn in documentations to prove to the court that the Ministry of Health and City Med have both been served. He did say that they don't, because I actually asked for it to go to the criminal jurisdiction. I've actually been asking it to go to the criminal jurisdiction as far back as the hearing, the first hearing, which was on the 27th of February 2017 before Judge Chalice. Our laws clearly indicates that we can have cases like mine transferred to the criminal case. So the hearing was, the judge put it to another hearing. So I've had the second hearing, and judge said it was a list court. So I don't think they realise I know how the court procedure goes, where they have the list court and then they have another court where you have a hearing. So I was a little bit like, okay, so how many list courts do we have to have? The Ministry of Health did not turn up. And then another thing I discovered in this hearing, the Ministry of Health personnel was communicating with going with the documentations that I receive. I think they've got like 4 lawyers in this one case, but the opposition for the Council for Ministry of Health wanted to attend the hearing by VMR, so by video recording. So like I said, I'm from the old system, because I know that that's only used when a person is a victim or witnesses in court, but not for counsel. So, but then we had COVID, so maybe that's been the system since COVID. But I actually queried with the courts. I want to see the laws involving that, because I have a bit of a concern about the recording, because in the courts, like this case is, I've been treated like a private case, all right? My whole life has been contaminated already well in advance, and I invited my family to come to my case, but I know that they're all being somehow affected with what has been going on with me historically. What the public has to realize, that what actually looks like on the surface as far as family and everything is concerned is not necessarily how it is even though people are taking photos, and then you got gossip and you got people recording people, and just sowing seeds of discord to cause division or to cause an alliance to gang up on another person. That is what's happened to me. Okay, so what's at stake here is and what I am opposing, and why I haven't sort of kind of back down as far as my court case is concerned, is because they attacked my mental health. They them using the misuse of the mental health is illegal. It's actually a criminal offence in New Zealand to use the Mental Health Act on individuals without any evidence. But I felt everything I had gone through was a conspiracy, and it was intentional. And they did railroad me out, and they did set me up. So that is where I'm at with the courts. The things that I have disclosed on my YouTube channel, on Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur YouTube channel, is my life story. So the documents that I put on that YouTube channel is what is before courts today. So they didn't turn up, and the judge didn't really let me get into it. He said it was a list court, so I was like, okay. I have a bit of a concern about all the deviation, the cloning, the twinning. I'm telling you, that is what the evidence will show on my legal documents, and that is what I am pursuing in court, to get my legal documents, my personal profile correct, to be made correct legally. Like, all these things has to be done correctly legally. So given the history of my case, I have been outnumbered. I have felt unsafe, and I do not like the system. I feel totally exploited, and you get all these people coming out from nowhere, breaking the law, doing indirect abuse or blackmailing threats in your space. It's organized crimes. It doesn't matter who's doing it, whether it's somebody, a government agency. It's organized crimes, and it is still illegal. So I've had those kind of problems, and I'm just dealing with it the only way I can. I have been ringing 111 when it does happen, because even though they don't intervene, because the police response has not been good. They've hung up on me several times. They've tried to refer me to a mental health unit for an assessment. Like, they're all playing along with it. It's not far away. This will be the third hearing, so we'll see what happens. The councils did put in an interlocutory application, but it is my case. It's not their case. But they'll have plenty of opportunity to challenge anything and to bring out their accusations about me if this goes to the criminal court. It is definitely a category 4 case. Now, if there was such a thing as category 10, my case would fall in that category. So you can understand that the opposition would be petrified if the public got their hands on the real nitty-gritty of what's actually going on with my case. But I have found, keeping things like covering up the truth and trying to save dead people that have committed crimes, or trying to save people in government occupation who've broken serious laws, like perverting the course of justice. All it does, it just builds up, and then other innocent civilians get lured and caught in it. And that's what's happened with my case. The next hearing is not far away. I have heard from the PSA, because I've actually asked the judge that I want this case to coexist as one, but there's these things that I've got to do, I have to do, you know, by myself. But I do get concerned because they are not making things easy for me. Hi, today is Friday, 25th of May 2018. The file is officially now with the Court of Appeal, and so I'm just waiting now to hear what is the judge's decision. So what I have found with what I've been going through, the greatest disadvantage is when your privacy's gone and being subject to a project without your consent like I have. You automatically are disadvantaged because people have basically invaded your privacy to study you, dig out your past, and doing unlawful investigation without your consent. So when that is actually happening to somebody, it is automatically a criminal case because you know, I haven't consented to it. In fact, anything that you don't consent to legally, it is criminal. So now this case has been now pending well over 22 months unlawfully, as already mentioned in my other little video clips. As time have gone on, you know, the micromanaging of my circumstances and my environment has been really quite unsafe. You know, in the fact that when you go out, you know that you've been criminally, you know, your environment is contaminated, and you're subject to something that's not right. But regardless, you know, of the circumstances, the only way really to get yourself out of it and to sort out any issues is the court system. So I've been doing this case now for well over 22 months, and the experience I've found, although it's the hardest thing is the emotional side, but when you pass all that, bar that, the emotional side of things, the experience has actually been quite rewarding in so many ways. And also just the reality of how appalling the system is for the public, because now I'm on the other side as any member of the public to deal with my medical records in court. Now, what I've found also is when they're micromanaging your circumstances, they're basically controlling everything. So they know in advance where you're going, and so they're able to give wherever you're going, instructions what to say to you, you know, so they can make things really difficult for you. They can, you know, they've been given instructions to tell you what to say to you, and that's the end of that, and just make it really difficult and stressful, which is what has happened to me. The other thing is I found with the last time I tried to lodge my documents over the counter, they had issues even date stamping the originals. Now, it's the usual process is that every single originals, the councils are supposed to get originals, the judge is supposed to get original for the court file, and myself. All the parties are supposed to get originals, and they should be date stamped. Well, now they've changed it. And I know it's not because they've changed it, it's because I'm being deliberately discriminated against, which is a real concern because it shouldn't be happening, because according to the law that's still a criminal, you know, for government employees and staff to you know, deny the public their right to justice, regardless what it is. But so yeah, there were issues there now that they're trying to tell me that they no longer date stamp originals for the councils or the other parties. The only originals that they now date stamp is for the judge's file, for the court file that they receive over the counter. which is not good, because I have found that they've actually, I've had people actually tampered with my documentations. You know, bearing in mind my privacy's gone, so I've had problems with just entering people entering into my premises when I'm not there. You know, hacking into laptops. So all that has happened, and so so that was another not good issue that I had to deal with when I went to lodge my file at the Waitakere District Courts. But somebody is giving them instructions that they're not to do this, not to do that, when I know you can, but yeah, it's more of a personal vendetta, and it's not good. But regardless of all that, the file is officially now with the judge, the Court of Appeal judge, and the councils are all aware of. And the other thing you must remember, now they don't even transfer court files from case to cases. Oh, it's raining. And sorry, they don't transfer court files now from court to court, and but that